Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here for the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your planning outlook updated Sunday evening, the 25th of August. It's been a glorious weekend so far for most places. For the England and Wales bank holiday, the hottest on record in the temperature series. Not that these temperatures as such are that unusual for the back end of August, even early September, just as luck would have it. Since this bank holiday has been around since the 1970s, it's never quite coincided with this part on the calendar. Days ahead are looking a bit more messy as fronts come in from the Atlantic. We've got some thundery bursts of rain likely through the middle of the week, all a very haphazard mix with that one. And then it's all back to southwesterlies with the rain focused once again on the western side of Scotland later in the week. Let's take a run through the sequence then. For Monday, bank holiday across England and Wales. We've got a dry and sunny day for the most part. There is a fly in the ointment though, and that is the humidity that's in place, and there's likely to be some fog, and that around low levels in the valleys, some lower slopes in the morning, and it may get stuck around Irish sea coasts, so could just be some banks of low level cloud around coastal hills in Wales, in the Lake District, across the Solway Firth area. Now it's under inversion conditions, which should mean most of the mountain tops are above that layer through the day. Western Scotland, a front is not too far away, but it's not really making progress. The system is all very slack, so it's not coming in with any huge substance, maybe just around Skye, some patchy rain trying to develop, but overall across the Highlands it is a dry day. It's that same front that is more or less around into Tuesday, sitting off the western side of Scotland once again. Ahead of that, things just becoming a bit more unstable, and there's the risk of some thundery bursts of rain, and now those could well be on the go even from Monday night if something just develops, say, off Brittany, around southwest England, and starts to run northwards. It may be that doesn't really develop into much, and it's instead showers that form, say, during Tuesday afternoon into the evening. Even those could be very, very hit and miss. But if you do get them, the risk of thunder and lightning is there during Tuesday. Not too much wind, the general flow from the south, so they'll tend to be quite slow moving where these showers do form. There'll be some fog again around at low levels, and if the showers form, well, banks of cloud could form almost anywhere on the hills, but for many places you could still get a day where the hills stay broadly clear. Bit of a hazy atmosphere though that's still around, so distant visibility might still be a struggle, and that onwards into midweek is likely to be the theme, and if anything, just a bit murkier on the whole, with more in the way of rain around. Again, the scope for some thundery bursts, detail very, very uncertain as these fronts just drift very slowly in from the Atlantic. Expect some downpours, expect some dry weather as well. If you catch the rain, you could stick with it for a good length of time. Equally, if you can avoid it, you'll stay dry for a good length of time with the wind not being that strong. Temperatures tending to come down as we go through the day, particularly across western Scotland once that cold front does edge its way eastwards. That opens the door by the time we get to Thursday to more of a southwesterly influence from the Atlantic, the wind strengthening and may well reach gale force across Scottish mountains through the day. Some rain coming in on the fronts that approach, and that could well set in across west and northwest Scotland. Further south and east, largely a dry day. Just need to watch what happens with any leftovers of Wednesday's system still clearing away towards Scandinavia, but it looks as though for much of England and Wales it's a dry day. Could just be some low cloud that plagues those Irish sea coasts. Heading towards Friday, and it's that southwesterly conveyor belt that's in, and it's the idea of some rain, fairly persistent across western Scotland, chance of some patchy rain for the Lake District and Snowdonia, but smaller amounts here with pressure being higher, the fronts more likely to be stationed toward the north across Scotland. Looks a breezy day for most places, windy, even gale force in some parts of the British Isles over the mountain tops, just depending exactly on the positioning of the front and the shape of the low. And notice the trail back of that front into the Atlantic. That could be an interesting feature as we go onwards into the weekend and next week. And if we just step back and look at the bigger picture, we can try and track or project what might happen to that. It's very low on confidence at this far out, one of those patterns that could well go either way. But it may just be that it forms a zone of low pressure somewhere around the Azores, and that drifts slowly towards Biscay, this chart really doesn't know what to do with it in many respects, and it's different from one model to another as we head towards next weekend. For our shores at this time, this is next Saturday, it's likely that low pressure is towards the north, and it's a west by southwesterly pattern, with again some rain western Scotland, patchier further south, all very familiar to where we've been in some recent times. It may just be that as we go towards Sunday and the start of next week, that something of low pressure that's been journeying around Biscay just as a cut-off feature around there that could give lower pressure toward the south of Britain, say into that following week, and higher pressure starts to build further north and west. Now, this chart maybe not really showing that with too much substance, a lot of complexity in the system this chart is averaging out at this stage, but it may just be, compared to recent times when it's been Atlantic weather patterns steaming into Scotland, there's a chance that things just start to move around and you end up repositioning high and low pressure. It could mean that some of southern Britain could become very wet if that does develop. A lot to play for, it must be said at this stage, so I won't try and get too much more out of it, but that's just one to watch as we go into the start of September. So potentially good news for some, potentially poorer news for others as we head towards the start of next month. Stay right up to date then. We'll update the video in the middle of the week and see how things are progressing. Stay up to date, of course, with your local forecast updated daily on our website, and you can follow us on all the social media feeds as well. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.